All right.
Welcome back to the help desk.
Yeah, hold please. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? You ready to
dude,
rock?
Yeah, I'm fired up.
Me too.
Yeah, we are back in the what was the nurturing bosom of the mothership.
There we
That's
go.
the old
There we
ticket for
go.
all you old school ticket folk out there.
Yes.
If there are any left.
After our journey last week.
Dude.
How was it?
Oh, dude, that was badass. It
was so fun.
And so much so, in your honor, I got the
You got the right shirt on and everything.
Dude,
I know. I should have
cold.
mine on.
It got cold, man.
Yeah, it
or
did.
Or else I'd be just wearing my tee. But yeah, I'm fully branded for Hero Nation.
I love
Yes.
it. I love it. I even brought you a book today, our new book. Tommy put this together, and I got to write the forward and everything else. Rethink everything about CRM. So awesome. Hot off the press.
I love it. Look at that, dude. I'm getting swag right out
Boom.
the gate.
Boom.
And you and the rest of the crew last week kicked ass.
It was a lot of fun.
That was unbelievable. And, you know, I'm not necessarily in the business of blowing smoke. So, dude, you rocked it. And one thing I did learn is like a wrestling card, like they don't put Hulk Hogan on at WrestleMania first. It was like he was at the end.
Right.
So like it's like, okay, we don't want to put the steel cage match on first, and we don't want to put the guy that goes through the table on fire. We don't want to have that second. So it was like, okay, so now there'll be a little bit of for the mid-year. We'll monkey with the lineup.
Absolutely, it is fun though to figure those things out over time. And like, I'm getting ready to put together a huge event for a big organization, and like flow is a huge piece of that, right? It's like a 3-day event, you know, all those kinds of things. So it's like. It makes a big difference, right? When you can understand when things are going to happen, how people are feeling, and be sensitive. All those things are huge.
It is art and science.
Yes, it is. It
and then
absolutely is.
Again, shout out to everybody. Of course, the gals were phenomenal, but like they were more nutrient dense conversational versus like you and Corey were both like interactive.
We also dressed the same, which was concerning.
Right.
It's like, is Wayne back? Oh no, that's Corey. Okay, what's happening? Yeah.
It's like y'all shared the wardrobe.
Yes,
trailer.
We did. We keep it simple. The reality is like him and I, we were talking about, we basically wear the same thing every day. Which I probably need to do a video to show people I actually do have like 30 black t-shirts. Like it's not the same one every day.
You are absolutely preaching to the choir.
I don't want to make decisions. It's the one thing that I love being able to walk in my closet, and even though there's a lot in there, I can just grab my black t-shirt or my black dress shirt and walk out. And I love that. I don't have to make that decision.
So the Hero Nation shirt came up in the
rotation.
I get the laundry done.
Yep.
And normally it's exactly what you said. Yeah. I want to say at last count, I have 17 black t-shirts. Yeah. They're all exactly the same.
Yes.
I want to say 6 of these, maybe like 2 gray and 5 black.
And just keep it simple.
Yeah. And then, so I go to pull off the top, you know, because they fold it and they stack it and it's gorgeous. But I was like, oh, dude, and it's perfect because in honor of last week and you guys rocking the house, I'm fully branded.
I love it.
But absolutely, it's like I have these Gap jeans, the kind of like stretchy Gap jeans that I wear. I think I have 5 of those.
Yep.
I have literally at least 20 of the black socks that I wear.
I literally just like the white ones I wear. I literally just buy like 48 of them at a time.
So I have those for the summer.
Yeah.
It's the summer. Actually, no, it kind of fluctuates, but it's like everything's either the whites. So all my towels are exactly the same. The socks can go with the towels, the white socks.
Yeah.
Then everything else goes in the colors.
Do you separate? That's good for you.
Only when they're dirty.
Okay.
And then
I just wash everything together, and if something doesn't make it, I'm like, that wasn't meant for me, right? Like I'm a single dad balling over here. Like I'm trying to figure life out. You know what I mean?
It's predestination.
Dude, everything just goes in there. Something shrinks. It's like that just wasn't meant for our family. You know what I mean? And that just goes away. That's how bad it is.
You practice determinism when it comes with the laundry.
Amen.
It's like, that it was ordained that wasn't meant to stay.
I tell you what, though, there's a lot of beauty in like essentialism and all those kinds of things, and figuring out like, where can I simplify my life? And our lives are so complicated. It's like, where are the places I can simplify it and make it?
Yes.
You know, it was interesting. My sister-in-law, you know, she's so big on this and helped me so much. Last year when we were spending time together when I was up in Canada, she's like, look, I made a decision I'm going to be able to clean any room in 5 minutes. Which means I need to be able to get out all that stuff that we don't actually need, right? You know, and she talked about like, hey, we can have, 2 pillows in the living room. We don't need 48. You know what I mean? And hey, like, but just all these little things, and I was like, that's beautiful. I went home and I cleaned out our house. I was like, we're getting rid of 40% of stuff.
Wow.
And we did. We got, like, for the kids' rooms, my rooms, everything, we got rid of at least 40% of stuff. Donated it, gave it away, whatever it was. And I tell you what, there's so much, just even that helps. It's like, now I have less stuff I got to worry about. I can clean up any room faster.
Yes.
The kids weren't happier having the more junk. You know, we got rid of so much stuff. And I think there's those things. And then in like business, like, make 40 buyer packets at a time instead of this one at a time. Like, save every email as a template, so you don't got to rewrite the thing again. Right?
Yes.
Like, there's all these little things we can do that speed up so much time just by doing that.
Well, and I love that you said, you know, the whole idea of I need to clean. Well, I'm not going to clean the room in 5 minutes, but I do subscribe to the minimalist thing where, and it's like partly because I just don't care. So like in my condo that I've lived in for 13 years or 14 now, there's nothing on the walls. There's like literally no wall hanging, no art, no anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I thought about the other day, I'm like, I'm going to get a giant TV and have it hung in the living room.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I saw an 85-inch TV.
You see one of those picture frame ones, right?
On Amazon, which I'm like, oh my God, 85-inch television, you know, up on, I'm like, okay, that would just be like the monolith where
and that's where you review your work, right? So that's a write-off. That's for reviewing.
Dude, I like the way you think.
That's totally work related.
Brilliant.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. No, I think the case, like, asking yourself, this is a great time of year to do this, right? What can I clean up? What can I cut out? And what can I clear up? You know what I mean? So I need to clear up my schedule. What do I need to cut out of my schedule? And then what do I need to clean up as far as like meetings, agendas, and all that kind of stuff? And just go back and just refigure that stuff out, because we've unintentionally made it harder on ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't remember who I was talking to, but it was the everybody conflates being busy with getting stuff done, or with working.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I can be busy and actually achieve negative numbers.
Yeah.
You know, like I can drive the bus backwards, but boy, I'll feel busy as hell. Like, woo.
Man, well, there's so many people that feel, like you're saying, there's so many people that feel successful when they're busy, but it's like, are you getting results, or are you just busy? It's like, we were talking, Brett Cruz and I were talking about like a rocking horse, right? A rocking horse moves all day long, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Yes.
Right? And there's so many agents that are just busy. And in a lot of businesses, they're busy, but they're not holding their results accountable. And they feel busy, they feel good based on how busy they were, not how productive or successful they were.
How much do you think that goes back to like the old Puritan work ethic?
100%. Yeah. Because I mean, back in the day, the harder you worked, the more you got paid. Right. And now, like, some of the hardest working people are paid the less. Like, you look at some of these people, they're doing some of these construction jobs and some of these other things. Like, they work really, really hard. So here's an interesting twist on that whole thing. Stop bragging about working hard and start being how effective and efficient you can be. I remember one day I was bragging about, I think it was back in the day, I was bragging like, I worked 80 hours this week or whatever it was. Right? I was like, you know, man, because I was proud of myself for my grit and determination and whatever else. Right? And then I realized, like, oh, shoot, this guy did it in 40 hours. So I'm bragging that it took me twice as long to get done what this guy did in 40 hours. And I'm like, shoot, I'm going to start bragging about how many hours I worked. This
and then
is insane.
Tim Ferriss walks in with the 4-hour work week.
Yeah, and I got it done in 3.5. And I'm like, mother. Right?
Yeah, and everybody's just defeated. Well,
but that's how it is now. Like us with like our VAs, you know, our virtual assistants and things like that, and our systems and processes, we're getting better and better. And you've got to do that, because I think, especially with agents, we were talking about this week, you know, there's a bunch of things that I was talking to them about doing to go from being invisible to, you know, being omnipresent. And they're like, how do I do all this stuff? And I was like, you can't do it on your own. You got to have the support. You got to have systems. You got to have, you know, VAs. You got to have, you know, how to use things like ChatGPT, automations. Like, if you don't learn how to use that stuff, you are going to get left behind, because there is a lot to do.
Yeah, and the idea that any one person can be good at all the things
is insane.
Yes, that is such a fallacy. You know, like Cruz and I were talking / joking or whatever about the you know, if we want to keep it in real estate or whatever, where you're going to be the jack of all trades. You're going to be good at every price point, every transaction, every piece of content, every style of marketing or whatever. And it's like, so he and I went and shot the Go Network event at Toyota Music Factory. And, you know, there's 600 agents there or whatever, and they have 4,000, 5,000. Well, there's a gigantic infrastructure that makes the machine go that Rockstar agent in Arlington or in Southlake or Dallas or whatever, there's the consistency of the network and the branding and the presence that if you are, you know, like the idea of, okay, I'm good at, or I'm a C+ at everything, but I'm an A at this thing or an A+ at this thing that actually moves the needle, that's enough. Because at the very least, you will know, or you'll be able to see what sucks and what doesn't. Or even, you know, once I got to be good enough on all the little gimmicks and gizmos or whatever, if you came to me and you wanted to be a videographer or a photographer or whatever, I would at least know enough if you were full of shit. But the idea then that it's like, oh no, I have to keep proving that I'm the alpha, or I'm the guy that.
No, you don't need to be being good at everything is terrible. It's the fastest way to failure. It's trying to serve if you try to serve everybody, you become nobody to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
No.
Then okay, there's the next T-shirt.
Yes, there you go.
Well, and you guys were talking about that at Liftoff, where it was. I'm trying to think how it was couched, but the idea of, you know, you are trying to do too much at once, so everything suffers.
Right.
You know, and it was at a certain point it becomes diminishing returns, but how do you know? Which thing to focus on?
Well, and the cool thing is like with my clients, I'm able to see that in a different way, right? And when I'm able to look back in somebody's success, what I find is they look good at multiple things, but what I know is they've had laser focused moments. So they had a week where they went in the bunker and like got
and
this
the needle
thing
went
figured
pow.
out. Right.
Well, and
then they had another one that when they went deep on this, and then they got good. Like they didn't get good at everything. It's not like it all got better in the same way. It's like, oh, this got better than I did this, and you know.
I was trying to quote you, but it's like, I got older.
I just use such small words. It's hard to know. Like,
but
how do you say something so great with such tiny words?
But you know, the gist of what you were saying last week was the idea of I need to double down on the things I suck at.
Terrible.
Right.
Terrible.
It's like that is the worst advice ever, and that's usually given by folks that either are misinformed or they're misinforming you intentionally, because it's like, I don't need you to catch up to me and then take over.
Absolutely.
I prefer you to stay there where you're predictable and less competition. So, hey, I noticed, you know, you were struggling in this area. Well, if you buy into this, like get this book, get this course, do this, you know, and enroll in that, dude, you'll just 10x where you're at. And then people, it's like, there is that hit of, I'm getting better. I'm, you know, where it's like, I'm improving. When you don't realize, well, like if I'd have brought somebody in that was
just do this.
If I'm at a 40 and they're at a 60, if I bring that person in, we're already better.
Well, and it was funny because one of my clients this week, he's really good at helping people figure out, like, build out their AI, like writing assistants and things like this.
Oh, yeah. So I saw you post that.
Amazing, right? And here's one of the things he said on the call the other day. He goes, "Oh, it's easy." And I was like, "Shh, Larry, if you say it's easy one more time, I'm going to slap you." I was like, because you're giving people the impression that they can go do this on their own and it'd be anywhere close where you're doing. I said, stop saying it's easy. It's easy. It's easy for you in a sense because you've done it a bunch of times and your brain works this way. But stop saying it's easy because you're giving everyone else the illusion that they can go just do this thing. And it's not. It's a complicated system. He's really good at it.
Yes.
But it's not. It may be easy for him, but it's not easy. And by him saying, "Oh, it's easy," gives other people the impression, "Oh, I can just go figure this out with one YouTube video." And it's like, stop wasting your time. You know, let Larry do what he does. You know, in 5 minutes that would take you hours. Because he's like, well, you could have done this. I'm like, I could have done it in 6 years with, you know, like if I did nothing else.
You know, even if you were to frame it in, okay, you know, with a full work week of 40 hours of research and practice or whatever, you can get good at this to where you'll understand it and implement it. It's like, okay, well, at least you're not setting somebody up for feeling stupid. Because that's the thing. If you go like, oh, it's so easy, just do this, this, and this. I learned that whenever I first sort of dipped my toe into doing CE classes on tech and apps and stuff. Well, I mistakenly, most people, or at least I can't say most, let's say I, in the role of instructor, I was put into a place, and I'm curious if you ever did this, where I felt like if I was not shoehorning some sort of new piece of information every 90 seconds, that I was ripping people off, because that was what my perceived value was. When in reality, the audience, they wanted, if you're there for 2 hours, they want like one actionable item that they can take from each hour that they feel like, I got it. This was worth my time to attend versus I'm spraying them with just data and stuff. And they're still stuck on the thing that they didn't quite understand in minute 5.
Absolutely.
And I lost them. Oh, and now because I made them self-conscious or make them feel stupid, dude, the anonymous reviews,
Terrible.
Dude.
Terrible.
I'd rather just like, y'all can just line up and punch me in the stomach.
And one of the things that actually I think I said today, but I say this a lot, is like, when I'm talking to an amazing room of leaders, I'm like, hey, you already know this. I'm just here to remind you. Because a lot of times I need reminding more than I needed to learn something new. And it's like I just want to tell, like, I get that you already get this, and yet for anything like me, you need to hear something multiple different ways or from different angles in order for it to land.
The whole idea of like repetition strengthens and confirms.
Yeah. Here's one. Let's say one more thing, and this will piss some people off, which is great. The other reason why I think, especially a lot of agents work on things they're not great at, like, I'm going to build the Excel sheet or I'm going to make the flyer or whatever it is because they're hiding from the real work.
Yes.
Right. So they're like, hey, I'm going to go learn how to do this thing on Excel or QuickBooks instead of doing because here's what they say. They say, I can't afford to hire someone to do that. You can't afford to hire someone to do that because you're hiding from what would bring in more income.
Yes.
They don't want to make more phone calls, so they're going to go get good at Excel. They're unconsciously hiding from going out and door knocking, so they're writing handwritten notes or whatever it is, right? It's like, you probably need to go do the thing you're avoiding. That's probably where the biggest ROI is.
Do you think that,
not in the little stuff?
Do you think that's learned behavior, or you're just, it's like, because there's a part of it where it's human nature, where it's like, I don't want to do, and it's not that you would ever consciously think, I don't want to do the thing. So I'm going to get busy.
It goes full back to right.
I'm so busy.
I don't want to do this thing, but at least I need to feel like I'm doing something.
Right.
So I'm going to avoid this thing by folding the laundry, even though it's 2 PM. I should probably be making sales calls, right? Not, I'm talking about a friend, right? Not that I would ever do that on a Tuesday afternoon, right? But so it's unconscious. But I think the moment you come, awareness is the key to transformation. So that's when you reflect back on your day, and it's like, ooh, what were my 3 most important things? And then ask yourself this question: what's your best way to self-sabotage, especially when it comes to your schedule or your lead generation? It's like, my best way to self-sabotage is spend too much time on research, or my best way to self-sabotage is drag out a conversation with somebody that probably was a 5-minute call that I milked for 25 minutes. You know what I mean? And I don't have time to make calls anymore. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, and one of the things I loved about you and Michelle both last week was, it all starts with, like you just said it, you nailed it, the awareness.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't even know that I do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And there are, myself included, I could go for years thinking like, oh man, I'm so busy. My schedule is so packed. This, that, and the other thing. And in reality, thankfully, knock wood, baby Jesus, I was raised in the world of straight commission sales, where I've never not had some kind of sales related thing. And the idea there was,
employed every day.
Back in the day, it was like, hey, you want to raise? Go sell something.
Absolutely.
Go sell some more. And then the flip side of that is, do you want special treatment? Not that you would come at it from like, I want you to treat me, like a princess or whatever, but the rainmaker or the guy who brings in the money get special treatment.
Yeah.
That's just life in the big city.
Yeah.
And the idea that revenue covers a multitude of sins.
It does.
So I had been in so many different places, like the boiler rooms of the world where, where you ring the bell when you get a deal.
Yes.
And it's like, there's a part of me that just loves it. It is the Wild West. It's just goofy.
Absolutely.
It's just over the top.
Yep.
And everybody's a jerk to each other. And it's just like this close to a fist fight, a couple times a day. But there's something about that I love.
Yeah.
And the fact that it boils it down to, if you ain't selling, we don't need you here.
Right.
But then the flip side of that is, if you are, it's like the Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like, go, 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 go. And there's something about that whenever you can break through.
Yeah.
And you actually realize like, oh shit, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've ever done, because you were talking about door knocking or whatever. Well, it's like, I remember for years we would do lowermybills.com leads. And just, you're just like smiling and dialing. And now I would love to have said that, at some point in time I got enlightened and I realized it's just a numbers game. But it takes a minute to figure out like, okay, where it's like, okay, if it's 100 calls and then 3 will answer, and out of those 3, 1 will actually fill out a loan application or whatever. Okay, well then the trick is then you make 300 calls.
You just get it.
Yeah, you just get after it.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen until I'd done it for a long time. But there's the part of me that I love that, And then when you pivot and it's no longer something that's cut and dry, it's just you either sell the widget or you don't.
Right.
Then it becomes, well, now I'm kind of running a business.
Right.
And man, a huge part, like we talked a bunch on here last year where like I would have these, now the CPA no longer beats my ass on the Zoom call. So I made it through that gauntlet, and I just get the stuff at the end of every month. And now I don't look at it because that for me would be the busy work.
Yeah.
It's like I pay that person or persons to go over everything.
Yeah.
And if it's not on fire, they don't bother me.
Right. Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
And but I have that circuit where I could have been like, oh no, I got to go over these reports, and I've got to, I've got, this is what, January? I've got at least 5 months, or I've never even looked.
Well, we should probably do that. Right. I remember asking my coach one time, I was like, what should I read? He's like, let's start by reading your P&L. He's like, let's read that and see what it tells us. Yeah.
Now I have given it to my primary investor or whatever. He goes, these are great. I'm like, awesome.
Oh, great. Well, if you say so, here we go. Yeah.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah.
And then okay, so what's your opinion on this? Because half the time I'm running on the gut feeling of, I know if I'm going out of business or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I know historically early on, I had low-level anxiety that never went away.
Right.
Like no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And so I take that as a...
Well, I think part of it's just time on task, but I think the other part of it is it's kind of like playing a game. You don't stare at the scoreboard when you're on the court, right? When you're playing the game, but you do need to check up every once in a while and see what the scoreboard says.
Yes.
So I think it's like when it comes to, like, let's say money, it's like whether that's like once a month or once a week, whatever it is, like, okay, then I need to sit down with the scoreboard and go, what's working, what's not working, but I don't need to stare at it the entire game. And here's what I know. Your gut is always, my gut is 100% right half the time, right? Meaning, like, it's you, when I tell somebody, like, hey, how much does it cost you to live a month? Whatever it is, their number is either way higher or way lower than they think it is. It's almost never precise. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? So I think it goes back to, and that just goes back to the awareness, right? Like, where's it going? Am I in control of this?
Okay, so yes. So in my own defense, now I do look at the numbers every day.
Yeah.
As far as like the daily numbers.
Yeah.
And
well, if you know, like, hey, I hit, well, that's like going back to the numbers. A lot of my clients, we boil it back down and they go, hey, if you make 15 calls a day, because we boiled it all the way down. Hey, you do 15 calls a day, you're on track to hit this goal.
Yes.
We had this whole form we went through last week, which is like, how many buyers do I need at all times this year to hit my goal? So we go into like days on market, we do all this other stuff. And they're like, hey, if I have 2.5 buyers or 3 buyers at all times, then I'm going to hit my goal. So that's the cool thing about that. It's like, if you know your daily number, you don't have to worry about the yearly number, because if I hit the daily thing, it was 15 contacts, I got to have 2 on the board, and I got to send out 3, whatever, right?
Yes.
If I know that, then I can just play the game.
Yeah, then it's just math.
It's gonna add up, right? It's like, hey, if I put 1 marble in a jar every day, I'm going to get 365 at the end of the year. So you just got to know what's that marble and add it up.
Yeah. Yes, and for me, it takes out a lot of the emotionality, the tendency to judge things as good or bad. It's like, no, dude, it's this many, and then the rest will take care of itself. And I'm just, man, like I said, last week was amazing. We've been doing, like, year over year, it's I look at the, like I said, I do look at the numbers, but and when I poo-poo the idea of just like scrutinizing things, it's more about like, oh, would I save $7 if I went with Google Drive versus Dropbox or whatever?
I think that's balance. I think a lot of times that's when you need a coach or someone else to kind of give you some insight from time to time to know what's what. It's like they did some guy did some sort of calculation on like the people that save 2 cents on every gallon of gas, but they had to like drive across town to save.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like at some point it's like, okay, where is this actually punitive and not helping? So I think there is a balance, right?
And that's the awareness.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, if I'm aware that I do that, but I declare that the emotional payoff from saving 3 gallons or whatever is worth the fact that it cost me.
And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where a lot of times you need someone else to help you make an aware decision, because we have our own biases, we have our own blind spots. We don't necessarily see everything the way it is. It's like some of my clients, like, you can only cut to a certain point. You need to start making more money.
Right.
So it's like, cool, let's do the cut. Let's do an audit. Let's figure out where, what we can do. And then at some point, it's like, okay, we're not going to, 10 extra income by just cutting, right? We've cut what we need to cut. Now it's time to just go make some more money.
Yeah, it's income.
Yes,
Not say, yeah. So it's funny because, again, that goes back to the whole thing of more revenue solves every problem.
Yeah.
And there's the I can't remember who it was. It's one of the hustle porn guys in my feed. It might be Goggins, it might be Hormozy or whatever. But the idea was for young men in the Western Hemisphere, almost every problem can be solved by exercising and making more money.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cruz is over there confirming. He's like,
Amen.
Yes. And then it's like, one of those things like exercise and make more money. Well, I do neither. So
I love that commercial or that meme where somebody's like, man, I just feel really bad today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need some medicine or whatever. And the person's like, oh, okay, well, like, did you sleep last night? And they're like, well, not really. I went to bed late. Okay. Well, did you get up this morning at a good time? They're like, no. Did you drink water today? Not really. Right. Did you watch something good? Nope. Did you read something powerful? Nope. Right. It's like I don't know why you're feeling like crap. Like it's a mystery to me. You know what I mean? It's like I'm doing all these things that are not helping me.
And so like now today is the 31st. So this will be 30. So far I'm 30 days in where I've done the elliptical every day.
Good for you.
I go to the gym twice a week, and to further emphasize, like, wow, if you want cool stuff or cool people in your life, build a studio, have a show.
Absolutely.
And so I got a personal trainer out of that.
Ooh.
And it's like, shout out to Sierra. And so you'll see that stuff in the feed. And then we go to Park City's personal training. And it's like,
very cool.
Again, the whole idea of there are certain things that there is a psychological payoff for that it's that small, consistent effort.
Yeah.
And like, it took about 3 weeks-ish for me to not walk out of the gym feeling worse than I walked in.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's what that is, where turn the corner.
Yeah, well, and just choose one habit a month. You don't need to have 400. Choose one thing you're going to build a month. By the end of the year, you have 12 new great habits.
I love it.
Phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
Keep it simple, small, and it really is. It'll compound over time.
Okay, so as we close out January.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon in the immediate future?
Man, well, we've got our private mastermind next week, which is going to be amazing. We got 2 different days, amazing people flying in from all over. That's going to be incredible. Then we've got our coaches training coming up the next month. And we just have a lot going on this year. So I'm excited. I built out the calendar with Brad Allen the other day, and it's crazy everything we got going. So
right on. Well, we need to do some promotional material then.
Absolutely. We do. I need to get in there and shoot some stuff. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And oh man, where do you see so shout out to Tanner, mobile green screen video truck studio. I'll show you. I'll show you the clips on that. So
when I think of mobile green screen, I think of that guy that like just strapped onto his back and he's like driving down. You know what I mean? He's like biking down the street on the Zoom meeting. Remember that guy? Oh God! Hey, I you know what I miss? I miss COVID. The quality and quantity of memes and short clips that came out during that time we will never see that height of creativity again. Everyone was locked away, being brilliant, and
Isn't that funny? Where humans are remarkable, like stuck in that place. The creativity and the
shot through the roof.
Yep, it actually it goes back to my optimistic nihilist philosophy of life on Earth, where it's like, oh yeah, we're driving it into the ditch. Make no mistake.
Yeah,
we're absolutely doing that. However, humans are pretty remarkable.
We are.
And we could pull it out at the 11th hour.
We absolutely could. Board in the house board. There we go.
Yes. All right, brother.
Brother, fired up. Let's go get it.